Welcome to this live chat facility tutorial. We have had a lot of questions recently about the chat facility and how to use it, so let's get into the video. The chat facility is built with students in mind, with a tool that doesn't need to be parent or teacher led. Each of our pages are linked to the person behind the broadcast, even after it's finished, so you can always ask your questions and get a response about the broadcast. So, let's have a look at how to use the chat facility. To use the chat facility, the first thing to do is to type your comment or question into the chat box. You can now enter your screen name. Your screen name will show when you type your question or comment. Now you will see the chat facility ask for your email address. As I mentioned before, each of our pages are linked to people from the organisation who can reply to your questions. You can enter your email address, which will not be shared with anyone, to get a direct response from the people behind the broadcast. If you do not want a direct response, then click the button at the bottom. People behind the broadcast can still respond to you if you don't provide your email address. This just means you may have to come back to the page to check the response. To type your question, simply click on the chat box. You will then see two symbols appear. The @ symbol will mean your comment or question will be posted publicly for others to see. The email symbol means your comment or question can be sent directly to the person of your choice from the list that will appear. You can now speak to the people behind the broadcast and ask any questions you may have, or check out our partner pages to see the companies we work with who you can speak to right now about their current vacancies. You can also check out our careers page, which connects you to employers. Our live chat service is linked 24/7 to employers from a wide range of sectors, all waiting to hear from you. You can leave a question about how to produce a professional CV or how to prepare for interviews, anything work related, and one of our businesses will respond to you directly. You can also access a wide variety of live interactive broadcasts and video on demand with the live chat support on all pages. Now this bit is for the parents, guardians and teachers. The best bit about the live chat facility is that it is completely moderated, so you don't need to worry if your young person leaves a silly comment, as it will only show on their screen and no one else's. Another great thing about the chat facility is that it is GDPR protected, so no information is shared with anyone else. We will protect all email addresses and will never share personal information of the young people. If you have any questions about the chat facility or the Learn Live channel, please use the email us icon at the top of the page. Thank you, stay safe and stay tuned.
Hello and welcome to the Learn Live channel and to British Science Week. British Science Week is a 10-day celebration of science, technology, engineering and maths that will take place between the 5th and 14th of March 2021. This week, the Environment Agency are hosting broadcasts to help educate you on different areas for British Science Week. Today, we'll be joined by Nina Godsell and Gabby Garland as they will be telling us how we can become ocean detectives. Nina, Gabby and their team have invited you on board one of their coastal vessels to learn about the different ways that you can gather evidence from the marine environment. They will be investigating an underwater seagrass meadow and discover how this can help us protect our beautiful and precious watery world. Now, if you have a question to Nina, Gabby or their team, please leave them in the live chat which is next to the video player. Once you leave your questions, the team will get back to you as soon as possible. And if you want to find out more about events such as this, please click on the subscribe button just above and you can get the up-to-date information that you need. So, let's hand over to Nina and to Gabby.
Hello everyone, my name is Gabby. I hope you're all enjoying British Science Week and have been celebrating science, technology, engineering and maths. These were all my favourite subjects in school, so that kind of led me into the job that I do today. So what is it that I do? I'm a Marine Monitoring Officer in the Environment Agency within the National Monitoring Survey team. I work at sea carrying out marine surveys all along the coast of England and Wales. And I'm here today with my colleague Nina, who is a Marine Technical Officer in the Fish and Ecology team. So the Environment Agency needs your help. We would like you all to become an ocean detective today, and you will learn how to gather clues and evidence to help us understand how healthy our marine environment is. But first, let's see why the seas around the UK are so important, what the survey team do, and why we need your help. The estuary, which is where the river meets the sea, and the coastal environment matters to everyone. A lot of us have a thing called sea blindness, which is a lack of understanding of the sea and its values, especially here in the UK. We have beautiful hidden estuaries with important salt marshes and rich mudflats stretching out to wild open oceans. Over 30% of the UK lives within 5 kilometres of the coast, including myself. I'm lucky to call Devon my home. We are increasingly putting pressure on the coastal environment from things like plastic litter, pollution from the land, destruction from development, and busy recreation. Our coast and estuaries cover 1.7 million hectares, which is the size of Wales. Our seas are some of the most hardest working in Europe. They support so many important industries, not just the typical fishing and tourism, as we may think, but manufacturing, shipping, and even now renewable energy. Our coastal ecosystems provide us with so many services. Environments like sand dunes and salt marshes are natural flood defences, so it's important that we protect all of these environments. And lastly, we may not appreciate it, but our waters are extremely biodiverse. We have a really exciting sea life right on our doorsteps, including 330 different species of fish, which support globally important populations of seals and cetaceans, which are dolphins, porpoises and whales. We have sharks, including the fastest shark in the world, the mako shark, seahorses, rare pink sea fans, and beautiful seabirds like puffins. This is why it's important to monitor the health of the marine environment. And detecting clues that tell us what is going on is what the survey team do. We look for clues in various ways. We collect water samples to find clues which help us assess if it's good quality or not. We conduct trawling surveys to collect clues from fish. We count them and send them off for analysis to find out if there's any nasty chemicals such as heavy metals or pesticides are building up inside them. And we also carry out benthic surveys. Benthic refers to all the plants and animals living on or in the seabed. This requires taking samples of mud or sand or pebbles from the seabed. Depending on what we find living there, this can tell you so much about the health of the environment. So, Ocean Detective, would you like to come on board with us? Let's go and explore one of our coastal survey vessels.
Hello everyone, it's Gabby here. Today I am here with the Environment Agency's coastal survey vessel, Solent Guardian. We're currently in Poole Harbour and we are doing water quality sampling at the moment. So as I'm on board, I thought I'd show you guys around and show what it's like to work on a coastal survey vessel. So come on, let's go have a look. Here is the back deck, or the survey deck, and so this is where most of our surveys take place, whether it's water quality, benthic surveys, trawling. This is where most of the equipment is used. This is here, it's called a winch. Here we have the winch in action on a benthic survey in Wales. The winch itself can pull in around a tonne, which is perfect for this day grab that you can see in the clip. But it's also great for fishing gear and other survey equipment. Look carefully at this clip because you might be able to see some dolphins in the background. And then here we have our hydronaut. This is a marine instrument that we put over the side of the boat when we take samples. We use this instrument to take in situ data. In situ data can include things like temperature, salinity of the ocean, oxygen percentage and turbidity. Taking samples is really fun, but data like this is important because it helps assess our marine environment over time. So we are now in the kind of office area. This is where we have feeds that come through the wheelhouse and they come down here. So this is where I sit and do all kind of the survey officer tasks. We have a stream, this is our HydroPro. We'll map out where my sample sites are so that then the skipper can follow the positions and we can get on site. We have an echo sounder, so I'm always looking at the depth, and this is really handy for trawling or doing some benthic surveys. So here we have our wet lab, and so this area here is used to prep our sample, take the water from the ocean, we bring up on board, and then it goes into various different size bottles depending on what analysis is needed. Just here are a few of the bottles I have been using. We have a little small one and we put water in this, and that can be either tested for metals or nutrients. So that's looking at how healthy our water in our marine environment. We have these really large glass bottles and they get tested for things like organics. So they're looking at nasty chemicals that can be living within an environment. We take phytoplankton samples, which here is one that I collected today. This is taken from the Needles, which is just off the Isle of Wight, and this is looking for the tiny little creatures called phytoplankton, and they are the most important animals in the sea because they are the starter of all life. So you can name a few animals that might eat phytoplankton, put them in the comments below. Once we prep our samples, they are put in the refrigerator over here or within the freezer, which is down there, until they are ready to be transported to the National Laboratory Service, where they are sorted into different departments, metals, inorganics, organics, and then they are put through these incredible machines that will detect if there's anything bad within our water. And now I will show you a video of how we would take a chloroform sample and how we filter that through in our wet lab here. So guys, this area here is the kitchen, but on board you call this a galley. And so we prepare all our food. We have pretty much the standard things that you would find in a normal kitchen. We have an oven and a hob, a fridge, and we even have a water filtration system here, which means that we can take the water from the tanks on board, and means that we can drink fresh drinking water. Over here we have the mess area, and this is kind of our hangout space. We have a TV so we can watch it, and then down here to my left and our right are our cabins where we sleep at night. It sleeps 3 people, myself, the skipper and the mate of the vessel. Hello everyone, we are up in the wheelhouse at the moment, and this is where the main operations of the vessel take place. So this is where our skipper sits, and he is driving the boat using this very complicated system behind me to work out where we need to go. And then over here next to him is where our mate sits, and yes, he is our mate, but that is a term we use for someone who looks after the operations of the boat, including the engines, just make sure that everything's in working order. So we have a few things I want to show you up here. We first of all have this system here. This is the charts. These are used to find out where we need to go. I will give the skipper a sampling location and he will use these maps / charts, is what we call them in the marine navigation world. Over here we have the echo sounder, and this is used to monitor the depth underneath for the seabed, which is really important, make sure that we're not going to hit any shallow places. And then over here on this screen is the radar, and this is used to detect other vessels in the area and things like that. And then also we have safety things over here. These are our radios, and these will get us out of a really sticky situation if we're ever in need of rescuing, but they're also really handy for contacting local harbours to let them know we're coming into ports or marinas. But yeah, it has a lovely view up here, and on a good flat day we even see some dolphins. We are now on the top deck. This is where we store a lot of our safety equipment. We have our crane, which is used to load and offload the grabs because they are very heavy. But I'd like to introduce you to someone special. This here is our life-saving dummy, and he is really important because we never know where we might be in a situation where we need to learn safety. So we always are practicing drills, and he becomes our person that we might throw overboard, so then we can all learn how to rescue him. At the moment he is nameless, so if you have any ideas of what we can call him, please put it in the comments. He's just having a lovely day sat out in the sun there. He has been through a lot, he's been overboard many times. This is the top deck. It has a lovely view of the surrounding area. Obviously at the moment we are in Poole Harbour. It's a very sunny day, February, and yeah, it's beautiful. So everyone, I've hoped you enjoyed your journey on board today. I also just want to show you some of our survey equipment. Here we have the Hammond and day grab, and these are both used to collect clues. The clues in this instant being sediment from the seabed. This here is a Hammond grab, and this is more suitable for offshore sites with rocky bottoms, whereas the day grab is more suitable for inshore waters as well as our estuaries to collect muddy or sandy bottoms. We also have other survey equipment that's used to collect clues, including this seagrass camera. So Ocean Detective, we need you to collect some clues. So your first activity of the day using this prepared worksheet is to create a piece of survey equipment that can be used to collect clues within our oceans. Have a look at all these different types of survey equipment that we might use on board and other people within the marine industry might also use. Think about all the types of habitats and species in the marine environment and what clues you can collect to help monitor.
So Detective, if you would like to design a piece of survey sampling equipment, please download the activity below in the video on the Resources tab.
Hello there, Ocean Detectives. So my name is Nina, and as Gabby mentioned, I'm a Marine Technical Officer, and I use all the valuable survey data Gabby collects to understand and help others understand how healthy our marine environment is. Gabby has shown you some of the ways ocean detectives can collect clues and evidence from the marine environment. So we are now going to dive beneath the surface of the sea and explore it in more detail by looking at all the different underwater habitats. Firstly, what do we mean by the word habitat? So habitat can be thought of as a home environment for a particular species of animal, plant, or other organism. For example, on land, we have deserts, and we have woodland, and caves, and tropical rainforest, and grassland. As Gabby mentioned before, sea blindness is when we forget there is a fantastic world to explore beneath the surface. So when we stand on a beach like this and look out to sea, all we see is blue. But beneath the surface of the ocean, it's just the same as on land, except instead of deserts, we have huge areas of rippled sandy seabed and sandbanks, giant kelp forests, deep sea hydrothermal vents. Instead of rainforests, we have dazzling coral reef and lush green meadows of seagrass. So I'd like to show you just a few of the beautiful animals and habitats we've encountered when we've been out and about on survey around our coast. So I hope you enjoyed that, Ocean Detectives. So today we're going to investigate a seagrass meadow habitat. So what is seagrass? So it's the only flowering plant that can live in seawater. It grows in shallow, sheltered areas along the coast and needs plenty of sunlight to grow. If you're in the right area, you can even see it from the beach when the tide goes out. It provides a safe place for baby fish to hide and grow, and of course provides a home for 2 species of beautiful native seahorses. Because it is a plant, it absorbs carbon during the process of photosynthesis, and this helps mitigate the effects of global warming. And because the roots penetrate into the seabed, seagrass meadows can help prevent beaches from being eroded by the sea and provide us with important natural sea defence. However, despite all these benefits, we have lost over 90% of our seagrass meadows. So the coloured areas on this map show the estuaries and coastal areas where seagrass used to grow, but now has completely disappeared. So what could be the reasons for this? Substances that come from the land can damage seagrass, such as sewage from our homes and chemicals from industry. This can have a negative effect on the quality of the seawater, and it creates ideal conditions for other types of seaweed to outcompete the seagrass. Also, we can damage seagrass directly through activities such as digging for bait worms, fishing, and dragging boat anchors through it. Also, rising sea temperature caused by global warming stresses the seagrass and affects how it reproduces. However, there are things that can and are being done to help our seagrass meadows. We have an enormous network of marine protected areas. These are coloured blue on this map. Think of these as nature reserves in the sea, where seagrass can be protected from destructive activities. There are also projects where seagrass meadows are being restored. This involves divers collecting seeds from existing meadows and planting them in new areas. It's a bit like planting in your garden. To understand what is happening to the precious seagrass meadows here in the UK, we must become ocean detectives and look for clues. Earlier on, Gabby showed you the video camera frame we designed and built to take pictures of the seagrass underwater. And this is an example of us innovating. Here it is in action.
Are we on site?
I think we are on site, aren't we?
Yeah, we are.
Yeah. Okay. It's so clear, the clarity, you can see it go.
Yeah, you can see it on the bottom.
So when the frame lands on the seabed, this is the view it sees. We take a photograph each time it lands. The boat then moves a short distance and the frame is lowered onto the seabed again. So it's a bit like hopping from point to point. To explore the whole seagrass meadow, we may need to take up to 700 photographs. That's quite a lot of hops. While we are looking at the seagrass, we might see other things too. Sometimes we see different types of seaweed, and sometimes animals like this large spiny spider crab. Can you spot it? There it is. So back on land and in the office, we then add a grid over each photograph and count how many squares have seagrass in them. In this picture, you can see we've got seagrass in all squares, like on the grid. The white frame is a square. Each side measures 1 metre. If we multiply 1 metre by 1 metre, we know the area of the seabed we're looking at is 1 metre squared. We can then piece all the evidence from the separate grids together to produce a map. Here is an example of a mapped seagrass meadow off our south coast. The darker green spots that you can see is where the seagrass is thickest. We can go back after a few years and do the whole survey again to see if the meadow has changed. If we find that the seagrass is disappearing in this area, we will then work with other organisations to help to protect it. So, fellow ocean detectives, if you would like to have a go at collecting some evidence from a seagrass meadow just like we do, there is a downloadable activity sheet available on the Learn Live webpage below the video. There's a link to the resources tab that you can click on. Thank you so much for joining us today, and we hope that you had fun learning about the role of an ocean detective. Good luck with your investigations.
Thank you so much, Nina and Gabby, for that incredible lesson on underwater seagrass meadows. I hope you have all enjoyed being an ocean detective. Remember, if you have any questions for Nina and Gabby about their role at the Environment Agency, please leave them in the live chat, which is next to the video player. Once that has been sent, they will answer your questions as soon as possible. And if you missed today's lesson or would like to look back on today, the on-demand section is available to you, your friends and family 24/7, so please look to your leisure. That's all from us today, but join us tomorrow at 10 a.m. as we have some speakers from Staffordshire Fire and Rescue Service and their partners and agencies. You won't want to miss it. Stay safe and stay connected.
Welcome to this live chat facility tutorial. We have had a lot of questions recently about the chat facility and how to use it, so let's get into the video. The chat facility is built with students in mind, with a tool that doesn't need to be parent or teacher led. Each of our pages are linked to the person behind the broadcast, even after it's finished, so you can always ask your questions and get a response about the broadcast. So, let's have a look at how to use the chat facility. To use the chat facility, the first thing to do is to type your comment or question into the chat box. You can now enter your screen name. Your screen name will show when you type your question or comment. Now you will see the chat facility ask for your email address. As I mentioned before, each of our pages are linked to people from the organisation who can reply to your questions. You can enter your email address, which will not be shared with anyone, to get a direct response from the people behind the broadcast. If you do not want a direct response, then click the button at the bottom. People behind the broadcast can still respond to you if you don't provide your email address. This just means you may have to come back to the page to check the response. To type your question, simply click on the chat box. You will then see two symbols appear. The @ symbol will mean your comment or question will be posted publicly for others to see. The email symbol means your comment or question can be sent directly to the person of your choice from the list that will appear. You can now speak to the people behind the broadcast and ask any questions you may have, or check out our partner pages to see the companies we work with who you can speak to right now about their current vacancies. You can also check out our careers page, which connects you to employers. Our live chat service is linked 24/7 to employers from a wide range of sectors, all waiting to hear from you. You can leave a question about how to produce a professional CV or how to prepare for interviews, anything work related, and one of our businesses will respond to you directly. You can also access a wide variety of live interactive broadcasts and video on demand with the live chat support on all pages. Now, this bit is for the parents, guardians, and teachers. The best bit about the live chat facility is that it is completely moderated.